This last week I've been a little bit stuck in limbo still. We're still waiting on the well to be hooked up to our house, so I am at a little bit of a standstill as far as the horse pastures are concerned. In the desert, water is really important, so I need to make sure I have all of that lined out before I put in permanent fencing and shelters. Every evening I've been doing a little loop around the property to check for animals and see if there are any noxious weeds popping up. It has been a really good way to clear my mind at the end of the day. Even though we really don't have much water running in our ditch right now, I still keep finding new weeds popping up and little tiny tamarisk trees that I have to cut down every day. Between that and the prairie dogs out here, it's enough to drive a person a little bit crazy.
Being pretty nosy.
This week I've been taking it a little on the easy side since I don't have any big projects to complete until after the well is finished. I used Bruce's curiosity to get him dewormed for the very first time. I've definitely been noticing Prim has been losing all of her extra baby weight. I've been seeing Bruce nurse less and less, and if he is too rambunctious, Prim does continue to kick him off. At 3 months old, it's still a little bit early to wean him, but I think probably around the time he's 5 months old, Prim will be completely done with feeding him. I've still got a few possibilities for new little friends for Bruce, but we're just gonna have to wait and see how that pans out.
Calm down, Brucey.
I've had my eyes on a few little weanlings that I might buy to keep Bruce company. All of them are pretty far away though, so it is a big trip for a little horse to make. While he does really enjoy the company of Scarlett and Ziggy, I do think that they are still too big and rambunctious for them to be out together. That doesn't mean that they can't play with each other in their own separate pens for now.
Excuse me. Hey, Bruce. Hey. Man, he's turning into a terror, girl.
Even though Scarlett just turned 4 years old not too long ago, she still has a really immature mind. To be perfectly honest, I think that Bruce is probably a bit more mentally mature than this girl, even though he is so young. He is really brave and outgoing around new things, whereas even though I've introduced Scarlett to tons of different things, she is still a little bit suspicious and or frightened at first. Maybe spending more time with Bruce would give her a little bit more confidence about the world. It does seem like Ziggy spends the morning with Bruce, and then in the afternoon, Scarlett picks up the slack. Prim is not very concerned about Bruce being away from her. Typically when I do Bruce's grooming sessions and his little halter training sessions, Prim is perfectly content to stay munching on hay by herself. After deworming Bruce this evening, I went ahead and did Prim as well. She was in desperate need of having her mane detangled, so while I was working with her, Bruce took it upon himself to put Scarlett in her place. I still have yet to see Bruce clack at any of the other horses, which is a very typical thing for young ones to do. I would love to see Bruce running around with another weanling, but I just haven't found the right situation yet. When I get an update about the future of our well, I'm probably going to have to move Ziggy, Scarlett, Nigel, Bruce, and Prim. I'm hoping we're able to dig a straight shot from the well to the house, but it's looking like with all of the rocks around here, it could be kind of zigzaggy, and I don't want the horses too close to that.
Bruce? Bruce?
I don't think they'll be too scared of it because they were fairly calm for the whole entire well drilling process. But I don't want Bruce to get excited and run around unnecessarily. Even Prim knows that Bruce is not supposed to be running around crazily, so typically in the evenings she'll let him run around for a little bit and then she'll put an end to it by cornering him in their stall. Most of the time she is pretty hands off, but when he gets going around here too fast, she does step in at the perfect time. I don't think she minds that Bruce is playing with Scarlett, but after a while it gets to be too much and she'll put a stop to it. It's kind of crazy how much bigger Bruce is getting just over the last week or so. His front end seems to have caught up with his back end and he's looking like a very balanced young horse.
Careful.
After Bruce ran into the fence a few days ago, Prim has been a little bit more cognizant of all of the running around he's doing. We are getting closer to the time of year where there are a lot of production sales for weanlings like Bruce. There is one in Montana that I would love to attend. I've been to it in the past and I've taken you guys along with me. It would be a really good place to get Bruce a friend, but I'm not sure if I want to make the haul all the way up there. I've been to the sale so many times that I have a really good idea of what bloodlines I would like to have. There's definitely the possibility that I can bid online and have somebody in person look at the horses for me. The last time I went, the prices ranged from around $4,000 all the way up to $20,000. I'd like to get Bruce a friend that is very similarly matched so they'll get along as good as possible. At the same time, I don't want to spend too much money on another weanling because technically I don't really need another one, but it would be nice for Bruce to have a friend. I've thought really hard about getting a Mustang weanling for Bruce. I haven't seen very in-person adoption events around here for the upcoming year, but I do live only a few hours away from a couple of holding facilities. I'm not really sure as to the availability for weanlings at those places though. I also need to factor in the fact that a Mustang is going to be wild and I'll have to devote quite a bit of time to getting them gentled before they can even go in with Bruce. Lots to think about, and I do have a few other sale opportunities that are closer to home I might visit down the road. Lately, Huckleberry has been working hard to keep up with the zucchini production. I was pretty confident that Ivar was not eating any of the plants, but the other day I noticed a few little carrots pop up and he was munching on the tops of those. I don't want to say I've given up on the garden for this year, but I am not as excited about the upkeep.
Eat that whole zucchini?
I still can't decide on the type of fence for the garden. We are a ways away from our first frost date, so I can still have plenty of time to get posts in the ground. The next morning, while I was brushing Bruce and doing a little bit of halter training, I was able to get a sample for his DNA test. After spending some time outside with Charlotte exploring, I did run into town so I could get that in the mail as soon as possible. I'm really interested to see genetically what it says about his color. From what I can tell so far, it doesn't look like he is going to be roan like Prim, but you never really know with these young horses. I've been paying much closer attention to the wildlife around here. I see the bear almost every day and I have been hazing him so he stays away from the horses. One of the other things I want to make sure before I put up fencing for the horses is that I'm not blocking any really big game trails. I've been a little bit stressed out this week because I've been running out of hay, and I got right down to the last feeding before I was able to restock. It was a little bit up in the air whether or not I was going to be able to get enough hay. I was really expecting the horses to be out on some kind of pasture, but it does look like I'm going to have to feed all hay at least for another winter. With this heat, the horses have been getting really dry feet that have been cracking. Goose and Whiplash are going to get trimmed tomorrow, so I need them to soak their feet today. After picking tons of rocks out of the arena, I think today is the day I can finally turn some of the horses out. Since I got Sparkler in November, she has really learned a lot. She was completely wild when I first brought her home. For anyone that's new to the channel, that is a pretty cool journey that we were on, and it might be beneficial if you go back and check that out. This little girl was gathered from the Little Book Cliffs HMA when she was just a weanling, so the same age as Bruce. She spent about a year in holding, and then I got her for a special program they were doing. At the end of our allotted time together, I decided that I really wanted to start her under saddle before I sent her to her new home. I ended up purchasing her, and she will be started next year. One really nice thing about Sparkler is she is mentally a lot more mature than pretty much all of the other horses I have on the property. Her baseline, now that she's gentled, is pretty chill and unconfrontational. Recently, I moved Whiplash and Goose up to the arena so they could spend some time together. At first, I was worried about her getting along with Whiplash because he can be pretty aggressive, but over the last week or so, she has really put him in his place. I'm not sure what these few little holes are popping up. They're not from the prairie dogs, and hopefully if I keep covering them up, they won't come back. There are still quite a few rocks in the arena, but I do feel comfortable at least turning the horses out on it now.
Buddy.
I'm kind of surprised that Sparkler didn't do any running around. She has been on a little bit of a weight loss regimen lately. I think having the boys up here has been a really good distraction for her. Typically, I do end up feeding her more than she eats. I have seen the little bear run right past this arena. The horses don't seem to mind too much as long as they see him coming. I think he is still figuring out where exactly he's allowed to go, and I'm not too worried about it with these big horses. I do want to still keep Sparkler in a smaller pen at night, so I'm going to leave her out today and then put her back in this evening.
Sparkler. Hey, little girl.
Since picking her up, she has definitely continued to get lighter over time. She has grown a lot. Right now she is a little bit bigger than Whiplash. I think she's probably sitting right around 14 hands at the moment. She has definitely lost some weight over the last month. For a while I did think that she could be in foal. But I think just the quality of nutrition that she was getting here compared to how it is out on the range allowed her to gain a lot of excess weight. The majority of the hay I picked up this week is an orchard grass mix. I also did get some big bales of straight alfalfa. I am pretty relieved to have a very decent amount of hay for the rest of the summer and early fall. Tiny is also pretty excited to be back in a hay pile. I picked up 18 big bales of hay, and that should last us about 9 weeks. I kind of wish I had a bigger trailer so I didn't have to make so many trips back and forth. I was definitely a little spoiled in Montana having the hay producer drop every bale I needed for the whole entire year off at my house. The price did go up a little bit from when I bought hay in the fall last year, but it is still very reasonably priced for the drought and all of the other things that happen to slow production down. When I came back to check on Sparkler in the evening, she seemed to be really chill in the big arena. I did notice her galloping around up here a few times throughout the day. I'm hoping that this will aid in her weight loss journey. Sparkler is another one who has been getting really dry, brittle feet. I was kind of surprised to see her hooves chipping away because she grew up basically in this same exact environment. When I'm planning all of the permanent horse pens, I really wanted to make some watering stations that I could overflow, kind of like I did with Whiplash and Goose's pen today. It will force the horses to get their feet wet every time they get a drink, and that usually really helps with all of the chipping and breaking off that happens. Sparkler was due for a trim right before I started seeing all of the cracks and things. Her feet are still pretty balanced, and I'm going to have to give her a trim just to make sure her hoof walls don't get too much damage. I've noticed it on a few of the other horses as well, so I'm going to have to come up with a plan to tackle this. The environment here is so much drier than it was up in Montana. There is going to be a little bit of troubleshooting on my part to make sure the horses have everything they need to maintain their hoof health. I could definitely add some things externally to their hooves that would help keep them moisturized, but I really like to start from within, so I may start giving them some flaxseed oil or something to help with the pliability of their feet.
Come in. Come in for the night. Come on, Sparkler. Come on, Sparkler. Come on, good girl.
I'm really happy to see Sparkler more or less getting along with Whiplash and Goose. It was a pairing that was kind of an accident, but it has worked out really well. I was hoping to get Sparkler in with Scarlett and Ziggy. I think she would be another good friend for Prim. But now that she's cozied up to Whiplash and Goose, I think it might be beneficial for them to stay close to each other. With Whiplash so interested in Sparkler, it might be the perfect opportunity for me to take Goose out and continue his training. For the most part, Sparkler is pretty chill. The one thing that I did accidentally discover the other day is that she does not like being patted. It's something that's pretty typical, especially with sensitive horses. But a lot of times it's something that people do just out of habit, so it'll be good if Sparkler can get a little bit more used to it.
Up there. What's this? Forgot to get rid of our poop.
I've been continuing to have a lot of trouble with all of the wasps around here. I sprayed these 2 really big nests last week, and I don't think it did a bit of good. If anything, I think the wasps are now more aggressive than before because I keep getting stung almost every day. Hopefully I can get this under control
Come
soon.
here. Hey, Primmy. Okay, Prim. Hello, Brucey. Let's see your head.
Bruce's injury seems to be healing really quickly. It has a nice scab on it that is peeling in some places, and I've noticed a little bit of the hair already starting to grow back. I've not been doing too much halter training with him, but that should change this upcoming week. Coming up on the end of the week, I feel like I really haven't done anything. I am really glad I got a hay restack because that was giving me a little bit of stress. I'm also pretty happy to be done, for the most part, picking large amounts of rock out of the arena. It was really nice not to have to be rushing around taking care of big projects this week. I've been able to stew on a few of the problems that I've been having, and I think I've got them worked out now. I keep forgetting that winter is going to come a lot later than it has in Montana, and I do have quite a bit of time before any big deep freezes.
Where's your cat? Hey there. Nope. Extra soupy today, Nigel. You want a zucchini? You hungry? Come on. Let me see. Girl. Boy. Okay, come on. Come on. Look, buddy.
It's been really fun to see a few new flowers blooming and some of the vegetables that I planted starting to mature. I didn't water my cucumber bed at all this week, and it seems to have taken care of all of the yellowing that I was seeing.
Oh my gosh. Hey, bud. You missed one. How did you miss this giant one? No, this one's too big for a dog. Sleeping on the job, Huckleberry. Nip the tip off of. Here, you can eat this one.
Even though Huckleberry has been pretty thoroughly with the daily zucchini rounds, I think he may be starting to get a little bit tired of them. He has at least one every day and sometimes 2 or 3. I've still got a whole pile of them in my kitchen I have to process, so it doesn't really bother me that he's eating so many. This upcoming week, we are supposed to see a drop in temperatures and also a little bit of rain, hopefully. I'm going to continue to try and enjoy of what's left of the summer without getting too bogged down by all the chores I need to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.
Good boy.